So we are in 4th chapter, 18th verse. Fernando Prabhu, can you please start reading this?
Yeah, sure, Mataji. Can start.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Karmani akarmaya pasyen, akarmani cha karmayaha, cha buddhiman manusheshu, cha yukta krishna karma kriti. Can you scroll down a little bit, please? Yes, thank you. Translation. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men. And he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. Purport. A person acting in Krishna consciousness is naturally free from the bonds of karma. His activities are all performed for Krishna. Therefore, he does not enjoy or suffer any of the effects of work. Consequently, he is intelligent in human society. Even though he is engaged in all sorts of activities for Krishna, akarma means without reactions to work. The impersonalist sees fruitive activities out of fear, so that the result action may not be a stumbling block of the path of self-realization. But the personalist knows rightly his position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness. Because everything is done for Krishna, he enjoys only transcendental happiness in the discharge of this service. Those who are engaged in the process are known to be without desire for personal sense gratification. The sense of eternal servitorship to Krishna makes one immune to all sorts of reactionary elements of work.
All right, so this is a very interesting verse. Sometimes people have difficulty to understand what is being explained. One who sees action in inaction, and inaction in action. So what does this mean? It's like something from the Buddhists. In Buddhism, sometimes they have these kind of things, or sometimes in the Upanishads, they speak about this. In the Upanishads, they'll speak about he walks, but he does not walk, and he's far away, but he's very near as well. He's within everything, but he's outside of everything. And like this, you know, sometimes this kind of this way of speaking puzzles people. So this has to be understood. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men. So inaction in action means that that's referring to a person who is doing activities. It's referring to a devotee, actually. A devotee is active in the service of Krishna. But because he's active in the service of Krishna, there's no karmic reaction. Rather, the work of the devotee is akarma. And as Prabhupada explains here, akarma means without reaction to work. So this is actually what everyone would like. We would like to have work which does not bear any karma, which is not going to bring us any karmic reactions. And by doing devotional service, by working for Krishna, then you come to this position of inaction, in action. A devotee is active in so many ways, right? Devotee is active in cooking and cleaning and chanting and distributing books and preaching and working for Krishna and doing so many things, different services for Krishna. But because it's all dedicated for the pleasure of the Supreme, there's no reaction. So his action is resulting in inaction. There's no reaction. But on the other hand, then Krishna says action in inaction. Someone else is trying to give up work and go away from work and stop all work. And Srila Prabhupada talks about the impersonalists, how they stop fruitive activities out of fear, so that the resultant action may not be a stumbling block on their path of self-realization. So they try to get away from karmic reactions, and they try to stop all activities, right? They talk about see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, like that. And they think by stopping all activities, then there'll be no reactions. But you cannot stop activities. You're still going to eat, you're still going to breathe, you're still going to walk around and move yourself, and everything, there will be some reaction, because the activities are all based around the body, where the impersonalist, maybe he's endeavoring to become transcendental, but still he's going to get some karmic reactions. So he's trying to avoid reaction, but his inaction simply results in action. He still gets some karmic reactions coming on him. So you can see the difference between the devotee and the impersonalist or the jnani. The jnani is like that. They are also trying to stop all activities. They try to go away from the world, but still, they're still going to be active. They're still going to be drinking water. They're going to be eating. They're going to be moving. Even they may take the vow of silence, no speaking, monavrat, but still they'll be doing things. They'll be writing messages on bits of paper. They'll be going to toilet. They'll be doing different things. Actions will still be taking place. And with actions, there will be karma. So you cannot stop activity, but we can purify activity. And so that is what the devotee is doing. So for the devotee, it's a case of inaction in action. The devotee is active, doing everything, but it's all dovetailed to the service of Krishna. So there's no reactions. As mentioned here by Lord Krishna, so one who sees action in inaction and inaction in action, he's intelligent among men, he's in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. So that's a devotee. A devotee is engaged in all sorts of activities. So Krishna is encouraging Arjuna in this way, because Arjuna was worried about sinful reactions. If he takes part in the battle, he was concerned about sinful reactions. So Lord Krishna is explaining this principle to him, that if he acts with the proper consciousness, and that proper consciousness was described here in the purport, that one should think of himself as a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So every action, every activity is done for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So when we act in that kind of consciousness, then there's no reaction. Although you may engage in all sorts of activities, just like Arjuna, he's supposed to fight in a battle. So someone may have to do many different duties in the service of Krishna. Maybe you're driving a car, or you're going for a walk. Whatever you do, maybe there's insects or creatures around, you walk on them, you didn't see them. But if you're doing it for Krishna, if you're chanting Hare Krishna, and remembering Krishna, then you're in the transcendental position and there's no reactions. Because everything is done for Krishna. So remember, we gave the example. Who remembers what was the example we had before from the Bhagavad Gita? Who remembers the example Prabhupada gives? Anybody? The example about the soldier? Yes, anybody? Who remembers that example? No one.
Hare Krishna. I think I'm not sure. That's when you are in at war, and you kill somebody, you receive a medal. They say, very good job. As many as you kill, and you are good things.
Yes.
But if you kill somebody, your neighbor, because he's making too much noise or whenever, you know, you get to jail. You go to jail.
Yes, right. Very good, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, the soldier fighting the war may kill many people. He's a hero. But if he comes home, fights with the neighbor and kills the neighbor, he's a murderer. He go to jail, maybe hanged. All right, are there any questions on this?
Guru Maharaj, so when we do the activities for Krishna, then there are no reactions. Suppose when we are cooking prasadam for Krishna, but we think, right, sometimes when we are very hungry, we think, okay, after offering to Krishna, we will enjoy the prasad. Then it's not very good, right, Guru Maharaj? Then it's not complete Krishna consciousness. Is it like that, or?
Well, you have to eat. You have to eat. You know, Krishna never said you shouldn't eat. And so you eat prasadam. You cooked and you offered to Krishna, and then you take some of the prasadam. There's nothing wrong with that. But we should try not to cook with that mood that I'm cooking for myself, this is what I want, you know, I'm hungry and I'm going to eat this and I'll offer it quickly and then I'll eat it. No, the consciousness should be that we want to cook for Krishna and then we want to take the remnants of Krishna. Right? That should be the consciousness. But of course you have to eat. Krishna, there's nothing wrong with eating, taking prasadam. It's good. That's the proper way. You cook, you offer it to Krishna, and then you take the remnants. Of course, you want to distribute. You don't just take for yourself. We should want to distribute prasadam. You know, if anybody's hungry, we'll invite them to come and eat. We don't just eat ourselves and let everybody else starve. So, and Prabhupada explains how his father was having a cloth business. So there was some, you know, they were living in central Calcutta in the area called Barapazar. And, you know, it's a crowded area. There was a lot of rats there. So some rats were coming. So his father would put some rice out every night. His father would put a little bit of rice out every night, and the rats would come, they would eat the rice, and they would leave the cloth. So his father was understanding that, you know, these rats, they need something to eat, so he let them have some rice, and that way they wouldn't damage his cloth. So even if the snake is there, the devotee will feed the snake. We shouldn't just eat ourselves. We must also take care of other living entities. You understand, Vaishnavi?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, very clearly.
Okay, any other question?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, I have a question. Please accept my humble obeisances, all Guru Srila Prabhupada. The question is Sakama Karma Yoga a material activity or not?
Sakama Karma Yoga is, well, it's on the yoga ladder. It's on the yoga ladder, so it's not fully material. But there is a portion of spirituality there because it's yoga, and yoga means you're connecting to the Supreme. But it's Sakama Karma Yoga, is yoga performed with material desires, desire to enjoy the fruit. But still, there's some consciousness of the Supreme there. So it's not fully spiritual, but there is some portion of spirituality there in it. In other words, it's not pure devotion, but there's some mood of devotion there. You understand, Yuna?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, is very clear now. Thank you very much. It's not fully material, not fully spiritual, yes?
Right. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Now, if it's Niskam Karma Yoga, then that's spiritual. That's fully spiritual. And Niskam Karma Yoga is practically like Bhakti Yoga, almost. But some differences. It's still a little bit below Bhakti Yoga, but still it's very spiritual.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, thank you.
Karma Yoga means we're attached to working in a particular way. Bhakti Yoga, we're just attached to Krishna and we'll do anything for Krishna. We'll do whatever Krishna wants us to do. But Karma Yoga, we want to work in a particular way. You know, just like we're trained, we're trained to do a particular job and particular activity, okay, Yuna is a music teacher. She wants to teach music. She doesn't want to be a cook. She doesn't want to work in the factory. She's a teacher. And she teaches what she knows. She knows music. So, okay. So that's your duty. That's Karma Yoga. But Bhakti Yoga is whatever Krishna wants me to do, I will do. And Niskam Karma Yoga is we give the fruit. We're giving the fruit for Krishna. We take whatever we need to maintain ourselves, and everything is out, it goes to Krishna. Okay, we'll go ahead, next verse.
4.19, Tanmay Prabhu, can you please read it?
Yes, Mataji, I can.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjita jnanagni dagdha karmanam tam ahu pandita buddha. One is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. Purport. Only a person in full knowledge can understand the activities of a person in Krishna consciousness. Because the person in Krishna consciousness is devoid of all kinds of sense gratificatory propensities, it is to be understood that he has burned up all the reactions of his work by perfect knowledge of his constitutional position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is actually learned who has attained to such perfection of knowledge. Development of this knowledge of eternal servitorship to the Lord is compared to fire. Such a fire, once kindled, can burn up all kinds of reactions to work. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
So this verse is explaining the same thing which was mentioned in the previous verse, that action, inaction in action. This is explaining inaction in action, that how the devotee is doing all kinds of work, but the reactions of work are burned up in the fire of perfect knowledge. Perfect knowledge meaning that the worker knows that he's the servant of Krishna and he's working for the pleasure of Krishna. So there are no reactions to his work. Rather, the reactions are burned up, just like the fire burns up the fuel, the wood or the coal which is put on the fire is burned to ashes. So the fire of perfect knowledge burns up the reactions of all the activities. So, as Prabhupada says in the purport, this has to be understood by a person who is Krishna conscious. If we don't have proper knowledge, we won't be able to understand the activities of a devotee. Just like people condemn Arjuna for fighting. They say, oh, it was very wrong. Yeah, Arjuna and Krishna was wrong. He encouraged Arjuna to fight. So it was very bad, very sin. People don't understand the nature of Krishna conscious activities. And so they condemn. And sometimes they even condemn Lord Krishna. Now, earlier in this section of the Bhagavad Gita, if you go back to verse number 14, Lord Krishna says that he doesn't get the reactions for any of his activities. He said, there is no work that affects me. And so Lord Krishna can do anything. He doesn't get reactions. Lord Krishna is not under the law of karma. We're under the law of karma. If we do wrong, we're under the law of karma. We get reactions. Lord Krishna is not under the law of karma. How can it be like that? Well, we give an example. Just like the father may say to the daughter, you come home on time. I don't want you being out late at night. You should come home early in the evening. I don't want you to stay out late at night. So the daughter may say to the father, well, you stay out late at night. The father will say, well, I'm the father. I'm the head of the house. I can do what I like. You should do what you're told. Right? That's the way. That's the way it works. We have to understand Lord Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He is independent. He's the creator of this whole cosmic manifestation. And he can act in any way he likes. And he acts for the pleasure of his devotees. But people who are not devotees, who are not in Krishna consciousness, they cannot understand. They cannot understand the dealings of the devotees, and they cannot understand the dealings of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So, what can we do to help them? Well, we try to educate them. We try to get them to read the Bhagavad Gita and try to understand. But it's not an easy job, of course. Srila Prabhupada said we have to shed gallons of blood to make one devotee. Just to bring one person to Krishna consciousness, we have to shed gallons of blood. So it's a very difficult job to try to awaken people to understand what is Krishna consciousness. Anyway, this is the perfection of knowledge. This chapter is on transcendental knowledge, and we're hearing the benefits of transcendental knowledge. How, when we have that proper knowledge, then the reactions of work are burned up in the fire of perfect knowledge. All right, any questions? Everybody's
Maharaj,
clear?
Yeah, it's very interesting to know that the reactions of the work also gets burned up when we do akarma. Is it like that?
Yes. When
So
we do devotion, when you're doing
service.
work for the service of Krishna, then there's no reactions, right?
So the reactions of previous karma like that, or yeah.
Yes, the previous karmas also are destroyed. Yes. Not only the reactions to the work which you've done, but previous actions also, they're all removed. The past reactions. Particularly the chanting of the holy name. If we will chant the holy name, then it burns up all the past sinful reactions. Right? That's the power. Even we chant the holy name, not the pure name, but we're chanting the name at the level of Namabhas, the shadow of the name, the intermediate level. And we're chanting maybe jokingly or maybe unknowingly, but we get the benefit of the chanting. And it does destroy all of the past sinful reactions. Now, other people, they work very hard to try to get rid of their sinful reactions. And they do things like, give charity or chant some mantras or make some vows. They try to do things to get rid of their bad karma. But a devotee, without even thinking about it, just simply by chanting the holy name, by engaging in devotional service, then all of his karma is changed. It's all removed naturally, easily. You just have to do some chanting of the holy name. Now in Srimad Bhagavatam, you have the example about Bali Maharaj, how Bali Maharaj had conquered heaven and he was controlling the three worlds. So then Indra, or Indra's mother, Diti, did a yagya, and then she got a son who was the personality of Godhead, right? Who knows the name of that son? What's the name of Diti's son? Oh, Aditi. Yes, Vamana.
Vamana Dev.
Yes, Vamana Dev, right. Lord Vamana Dev comes, and what do they get him to do? They tell Lord Vamana Dev sent to go and beg Bali Maharaj to give 3 steps of land. And so the Lord came and they asked him to go and beg for 3 steps of land. And so Bali Maharaj felt very bad about it. He said, why didn't they just come and ask me themselves? Or why didn't they send their guru? Their guru was there, Brihaspati. He could have come. I would have given him. I could have given, but they made the Lord into a beggar on their behalf. They had Lord Vamanadev come and beg from me 3 steps of land. So Bali Maharaj was feeling very guilty that these people, Indra and Brihaspati, that they were supposed to be learned people, but they'd acted in this manner. They hadn't taken advantage of the presence of the Lord. Lord Vamanadev had come before them, and what do? They ask him to go and beg for 3 steps of land so they can get back their kingdom. Now, what they should have done is ask Lord Vamanadev for, what do you think they should have done? What should they have done? What should they ask Lord Vamanadev for?
To give devotional service, pure devotional service.
Yes, to give love of God, to give pure devotion. They could have asked Lord Vamanadev for that, but instead they asked him to go and beg, go and get the land, try to get the kingdom back. So Bali Maharaj felt very bad. And of course, the Lord is easily satisfied. We can offer him a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water. But even if we don't have these things to offer, we can simply chant the holy name. And even our chanting is not pure, but if we chant at the level of Namabhas, we get the benefit, and it destroys all the reactions. All the karma is taken away. Even though we're not pure in our chanting, but we're just trying to chant and we're not deliberately offensive, then we get the benefit of the chanting of the holy name. And it destroys all the karma. And that gives us a great opportunity to become Krishna conscious. Right? Once we get rid of all of our karma, then we're more ready to become fully surrendered devotees. Okay, go ahead.
Guru Maharaj, Kirtida Mataji has
Maharaj, may
she-
a question? Hare Krishna. Said Mahabala Basin says all glory to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, speaking about Namabhas, when people, for example, see the devotees and say, oh, those people from Hare Krishna, and sometimes, for example, the name of the word Rama, we can meet it in the Russian proverbs. And when people say them, does it count as Namabhas, Namaparat? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Kirtada, are you there?
Yes, yes. Have you, am I audible?
I can hear you now. I couldn't hear you for a while.
Well, when people see the devotees from Hare Krishna and they say, oh, those people from Hare Krishna, does it count as Namabhas or Namaparatha when they pronounce the name of the
all
Lord?
these people of Hare Krishna, yes, that's Namabhas.
Oh, I see. And sometimes the word Rama, we can came across with this word in Russian proverbs. Does it also count?
Rama.
Rama.
Haram.
For example, Mama Mila Ramu, for example, Rama.
Yes, the example is given that even the Mohammedan, when he's bored by when he's gored by a boar, wild pig, may stick his horn in him. So the Muslim man may say haram. Haram means alas, but he gets the benefit of chanting the holy name because he said haram.
This is Namabhas, right?
Yes, Namabhas. Yes.
I see. Thank you very much.
Okay, go ahead. Text number 20.
Nitya, do you want to read text number 20?
Yes. Yaktva karma plasangam nitya tripto nirasraha karmani api pravitopi naiva kinchit karoti saha. Translation: abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. Purport: this freedom from the bondage of actions is possible only in Krishna consciousness. when one is doing everything for Krishna. A Krishna conscious person acts out of pure love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore he has no attraction for the results of the action. He is not even attached to his personal maintenance, for everything is left to Krishna, nor he is anxious to secure things, nor to protect things already in his possession. He does his duty to the best of his ability and leaves everything to Krishna. Such an unattached person is always free from the resultant reactions of good and bad. It is as though he were not doing anything. This is the sign of akarma, or actions without fruitive reactions. Any other action, therefore, devoid of Krishna consciousness, is binding upon the worker, and that is the real aspect of vikarma, as explained herein before. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare
All
Krishna.
right, so this verse is describing the level, practicing devotional service at the level of sadhana. Not yet perfect. The perfect stage is called sadhya, but he's doing sadhana. He's coming to the perfect stage. But if we work in this way, as described in the verse, in other words, abandoning all attachment to the results of our activities. So we do activities, but we're not thinking ourselves to be the enjoyer of the results. We're not attached to the results. We do the duty, we do what we have to do, but we're not thinking about enjoying the results. And then also, ever satisfied and independent. We should be satisfied with whatever comes by the grace of the Lord. Sometimes success, sometimes failure, sometimes victory, sometimes defeat. We remain satisfied and independent. Independent in the sense that we're not depending on anybody to provide for us or to maintain us. We're simply working for the service of Krishna. So in this way, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. So devotee will be doing whatever is required. And Prabhupada talks about the mode of the devotee, that he's not worried about his own personal maintenance. He just accepts whatever situation Krishna puts him in. Krishna may give him and Krishna may take from him. The devotee remains satisfied, he remains peaceful. It is as though he were not doing anything. Well, he's working, but he's not working for his own benefit. So this is akarma, actions without reactions. But any other action, which is not, where one is not Krishna conscious, then we become bound in the results of the work. And then then you're going to get entangled, you're going to get reactions. So previously, Lord Krishna had mentioned there's karma and akarma and vikarma, right? So in this section, you can see Prabhupada has put karma and vikarma together. That if we're working for our own result, it's also another kind of vikarma. A vikarma means acts against the scriptures, acts for our own selfish benefit. So you get reactions. And if you work, you may be following the scriptures, but thinking about your own benefit, about getting the results. You want some result. Therefore, you're doing some kind of karma kandi activity. So this is also not much different from vikarma. It's irreligious. It's not really religious. Is it clear? Everybody understand? What do you say?
Guru Maharaj, but when we work for Krishna conscious, maybe in during preaching, maybe we expect some results, or even while we do the chanting or some other devotional service, we are expecting that we get purified. All this is wrong, Guru Maharaj.
Well, if we're expecting to get some results, then it's not the mood of pure devotion. That's the point. That we're not on the proper, we're not practicing exactly according to the mood of the pure devotees. We want to follow the examples of the pure devotees. Of course, maybe you could say we're neophytes. So we have to come to that level gradually. At least we should understand what is the goal. So this verse is describing the path to come to perfection. So if we work, as you say, we want to enjoy some result, then it becomes karma yoga. It's not really bhakti yoga. You understand?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, more clear now.
Okay.
So, Fernando, Tanmay, do you have any doubts? Simon?
No, Mataji.
So, Guru Maharaj, should we go for chanting or?
Yeah, we can go for chanting now. Well, if you want, yeah, why not? Let's go for chanting. Yeah.
Okay.
Chanting is also done for Krishna's pleasure, right?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
There's different consciousness. Now, some people may chant, they say, I want to get the benefit. I want to get the benefit of doing some pious activities. So that, that's not pure devotion also. We're doing it, sometimes we're doing it to destroy our I did some bad things. I'll do some chanting today to make up for it. So that's offensive chanting. Of course, offensive chanting is better than not chanting, but still it's not pure chanting. You may say, well, last night I did some bad things, I should make up for it. I'll chant Hare Krishna today to make up for it. So that mode of chanting is like, it's like the elephant bathing. The elephant bathes, gets nice and clean, then comes out, rolls in the dirt. And then he gets clean again, and then then again rolls in the dirt. Or you're building a fire, but then you put some water on the fire. You pour water on the fire, so it puts the fire out. And then you put more fuel on the fire again, but then you put more water on the fire. So we want to keep the fire blazing. We want to keep the fire of devotional service blazing and destroy all the reactions. You don't want to be pouring more water onto the fire. You don't want to be rolling in the dirt. Once you've got clean, we want to keep clean. Okay, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.